Two people were flying for the first time when they were caught in a plane crash. After a brief period of unconsciousness, Lucy suddenly felt a sharp pain in her leg. A steel plate had pierced through her calf. Fighting through the intense pain, she yanked the steel plate out of her leg. She then ripped a piece of fabric from her skirt and wrapped it around her leg to stop the bleeding. Looking around, she realized she was the only survivor. At that moment, a rescue helicopter flew overhead. Lucy quickly made her way out of the wreckage, waving her arms and shouting for help, but the pilot didn't notice her. When she turned around, she saw a tiger inside the cabin, feasting on the bodies. She carefully stepped back, but accidentally stepped on a twig. The tiger began to approach her. Knowing it was too late to run, she stood her ground. Just then, the sound of the helicopter's rotor blades reached her ears. The tiger, frightened by the noise, ran off. Lucy's life was spared, at least for the moment. Nearby, Lucy spotted a teddy bear. It reminded her of the survival techniques her husband had taught her. She removed the name tag, straightened the pin, and rubbed it quickly to create a magnetic charge. She then placed the pin on a leaf floating in the water, and used it to determine the direction. Afterward, she drank some water from the river, and returned to the wreckage, gathering anything that might be useful. Lucy then set off toward home, but the next moment, she stepped right into a swamp. Luckily, there were thick enough branches in front of her. She climbed up, intending to take a different route, but in a moment of carelessness, she slipped again. She had to climb up once more. After much effort, she finally made it out, only to encounter the tiger again. During her escape, she accidentally fell into a deep pit. It took a long time before she regained consciousness. She immediately checked her surroundings. Luckily, the tiger hadn't followed her. Later, Lucy found a lighter on the road. She spent the night shivering by a fire she struggled to maintain. The next morning, she came across another part of the plane wreckage. Inside, she found a flare gun. She immediately fired a flare into the sky. However, the rescue team was not nearby, and no one saw her signal. The weather suddenly turned very cold, and she shivered uncontrollably. She tried to light a fire with the lighter, but it malfunctioned. Just then, she spotted a backpack hanging from a tree. When she took it down, she found it belonged to her boyfriend. Inside, there was a portrait he had drawn of her. Seeing this, her heart ached. She remembered how wonderful their time together had been. Now, this accident had changed everything. She refused to give up. She packed up her boyfriend's bag and pressed on. Before long, she actually saw her boyfriend. Overwhelmed, she ran to him and hugged him tightly. With his comfort, Lucy finally fell asleep. But later, the sound of a helicopter woke her from her dreams. She thought she would finally be going home with him. But when she turned, she saw only a cold, lifeless body. She broke down in tears, unable to accept the reality. But soon, she gathered herself together. She started climbing back up the deep pit. The rain had made the walls slippery, and every time she managed to climb a little, she would slip down again. At that moment, the rescue team noticed the flare she had fired earlier. She finally managed to climb out of the pit, shaking as she prepared the last flare. With the faintest hope left, she fired it into the sky. The rescuers immediately saw the light in the sky. After 3 days of grueling survival, she was finally rescued. After watching the movie, please share your thoughts. The movie is from Russia, Adna.